Welcome back to an all-new episode here at Let's Talk Lions. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me clearly, like Poland Springs water. I think it's good. Feels like it's good. It might be good. I want to welcome today my guy, Dose of Dion. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Man, it looks good. It looks good. I like the intro. That thing is clean. I love that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you know, I had a little fun in After Effects, and I said, what do the people love? And if it's not The Return of the King,
oh, yes,
then it's nothing.
Okay, yeah. Because I was looking, was that that was the T, right? Was that the T? I was like, what are we doing there? Like, okay.
Yeah, I kind of have like Aragorn riding. You see Gandalf in one of them. You can see Frodo in another. You know, because like,
I love it.
Yeah, like there's only so much footage I'm allowed to snag from the Detroit Lions, so might as well take it from the best movie ever. How you doing, my guy?
Yeah, I respect it. I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. Good to be on your channel. I love the little setup here. Is clean. Like, I like how this whole thing works, the way I'm seeing it. This is good.
Yeah,
this is good. And your live stream looks good, man.
Well, it only looks so good because Dose Dion, you went out, you got yourself a camera.
This is true.
Good camera. Look at that clarity you're bringing here.
Oh, snap. Yeah, we zoomed in and everything, man. This thing didn't have a zoom feature. This other one we got. Yeah, man. Well, you know, I had to ask you about it first. You know, you're the camera guy. But I was just trying to up my level. You know, that way it wasn't like I was pulling the quality down the video. You know, like, okay, 720p. Why does it still look fuzzy? Yeah, that's just my camera. It's just whack. But now 720p, we both look good. So that's good.
That's all that matters. In fact, when I was probably like 12 years old, my uncle told me, I was playing baseball. I was a baseball player, and he was like, Jay, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad, just as long as you look good out there, like dressed well. That's all anybody cares about.
That's good. I like that. That's a good quote, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's accurate, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
You control what you can control, man. If you're looking good, look good. That's all that matters. You know, they say you look good, you play good. So
there it
maybe,
is.
You know, maybe that helps out a little bit.
Absolutely.
I respect it, man, because this looks fire. This is a great setup, man. But no, I'm great to be back on this channel. I love it. And free agency news is here, so
yes,
I'm ready to get into it.
My guy. Well, first of all, everybody else, I just want to thank you all for being here today. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. And to be able to have Dose on and to be able to talk a lot about everything that happened last week. And we're just going to cut right into it because as Lions fan, one Paulie's saying to me, I missed a lot last week. And that I did. I was out traipsing the streams and the hills of New York. And it was a good time. But I'll tell you what. It was tough not to check the phone and be like, who'd the Lions sign?
I get it. I get it. And there's no schedule either. It just happens. So you could be checking every 20 minutes and then just that random 20-minute benchmark, bam, something happens. You just never know.
That's exactly it. And that's like the hardest part is you're just like, I just told myself, I said, all right, I'm just going to put it down and I'm probably going to have a friend text me. So,
hey, that's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. But we'll get to it eventually. And here we are. And we can recap it all. It's great. It's a great time, man.
Absolutely.
And you're back just in time. Moves happening yesterday. Most active day was yesterday.
No kidding. How weird is that? And so, like, I think the Detroit Lions knew that I was gone. They were like, hey, we got to give Jay, like, a leg up here. Like, let's just wait. So here we are. And I wanted to kind of touch upon some of the free agency frenzies. The three main topics that I want to hit are Lions that were re-signed, the non-Lions that we signed, and then we'll break it down with a little Baker Mayfield here.
Uh-oh. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Excellent,
yes, sir.
dude.
Let's do it.
All right, so I want to kick it off with a couple names. First of all, Tracy Walker for $25 million in 3 years. That's the contract, $25 million, 3 year. What was your initial reaction upon seeing that?
Super excited. Super excited. And you know what? I was probably excited about every signing that we made. But this one, I was excited because the way I see the Tracy Walker deal was if they didn't do it, I would have been disappointed. I was kind of expecting it to happen. I was like, we have to find a way to bring this dude back. So when we did it, it was kind of like a relief. Like, okay, we did it. We got him back. I really want to have Tracy Walker. I feel like there's so much upside in his game. And I think it's just because he can do so much. Like you think about a Marcus Williams, you think everybody talks about his coverage. He's a fantastic coverage player, but Tracy Walker brings more to the table. Now, not at the same level, but he brings more, especially the run defending. He can just kind of do everything. And I think when you think about how young he is playing that role, because really with Patricia, that wasn't his role. Sometimes he wasn't even starting. Will Harris started over the guy. It was just such a completely different defense that to see, he's only been doing what he's doing now for like 2 seasons. And I was just relieved. I was like, we got him. Yes. I'm happy. And what was your thoughts? Because that's was my feeling right away.
Same boat. I was pulling for Tracy Walker. He was the first free agency video I made heading out of this season. I was like, the Lions gotta re-sign Tracy Walker. Like, he's a must re-sign when you look at what he was able to do. And like Patricia used him in a way that was just wrong, in my opinion, a very humble opinion. However, when you see what Aaron Glenn and Aubrey Pleasant were able to do with him, and they tapped into that talent, they tapped into it, and I think we're just starting to get that buzz from him. And I'm really excited because too often Lions organization says, let's move on from guys that we drafted. We don't develop them to the degree we could, and then we just go cherry pick big names.
That's 100% facts. And I think the more I look at it, I think that was the biggest mistake Patricia made, was that he came in with, this is what my defense is from New England, and he tried to bring it. So because of that, so many guys didn't fit, versus this new regime who kind of came in and said, we're going to be flexible. We know what we want to do, and maybe we'll ultimately get there. It may look like more of it next season, but we are going to make it flexible this season to just see how it goes. So we'll put you in this spot. We'll play 3-4, even though that's not where Aaron Glenn necessarily came from.
Yeah.
So I think that was huge, and that's one thing Patricia didn't do. So with T-Walk, it was like, where do I fit? But now they're just like, okay, this is where you're best at. Plus it fit when they came in because it's the same defense, and he's thriving again. So I'm super excited for the guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Huge shout out to Gain on Pluto for the super chat. I appreciate it. Hyped about Hughes. We will get to Hughes. We're starting with Lions right now. So Gain on Pluto, stick around because we will absolutely get to it. Also, shout out to Jonathan Foster. I just want to let you know, a British man, an Englishman, you could say. I was pouring myself some tea, and I'm not a tea guy.
Okay.
I love coffee.
Okay.
But it's after 4, it's 5 o'clock now, and I'm like, I gotta have something hot. And I'm not a fan of tea that much, so.
So what flavor is that? Is that just like the basic tea, or what flavor you guys?
Ginger turmeric. I can't speak. Ginger turmeric, and it's just kind of like, it's meh, but it's hot, so.
But it's hot.
So
sometimes it's all it needs to be is just hot. Sometimes you can't even taste it. It's so hot. It's just like, I don't care.
It doesn't even matter.
3 minutes.
Exactly.
A couple extra minutes. We good. Now I need you I don't know about you, but I'm an apple cider kind of guy. So I'll buy the apple cider package. It's spiced, and he mixed that in there, and that does it for me. So if you like that stuff, I'm just saying you might need to check it out.
Absolutely. And Michigan's got cider mills everywhere. So that's a good point. Dang, now I could go for some cider.
That's the stuff right there. Yeah. I can still taste it. I just had some.
Yeah. Did you really? Come on, man. We got our pregame drinks.
I did. Yeah, that's true. You know what? We got to bring them in and just show the people what we're drinking. I'll be prepared next time. That's
all right. Done deal. Moving on. I see a bunch of people in the chat. Thanks for liking the stream. Thanks for hanging out. That helps out. Just throwing your thoughts in the chat. I see a bunch of people talking about Malik Willis. It's another thing that I'd be happy to talk about. But for now, I want to move on to Charles Harris. $14 million over 2 years. What did you think about that re-signing?
Well, Charles Harris was, when I looked at Charles Harris, it was like, okay, there was like a certain price point I didn't want to go over with Charles, but it kind of followed the mold of like a lot of these guys. It's like, okay, well, he earned the contract, so I have no issue paying the guy. At his age, I thought he earned it. He was one of the guys that played in every single game last year. Not many players did that for us. And plus, he didn't really have much help, but I thought what he showed us is that he could do everything you put on his table. I mean, he can, he could play in a 3-point stance. He could drop into coverage. He could stop the run. He got after the passer. And while I don't think he's like an elite level player, the production is still there. I mean, I know I throw it out there, but he had an extra pressure. He had one more pressure than Hassan Reddick did last year. And the guy made $15 million per season. So to think about, you're basically, what is that? Double the amount of money that our guy just made. So I'm perfectly fine with it. Plus, you look at where the cap hit is for this year. They've been doing this with a lot of guys. It's just about $3 million. I love the deal. And I think what it does is, because the cap it's only $3 million, it's not like, okay, he's our starter, so let's not go get a top pass rusher. If there's a top pass rusher up there and he takes his spot, that's cool with me, because now he's our third pass rusher. And on a really good defensive line, that would be a really nice third pass rusher to have. But he showed he was reliable last year.
Oh, those are good thoughts, man. I didn't know that stat about the one extra pass rush. That's really solid. That's a good one. That's a way to dig that baby out like a...
Yeah, well, Rad's the Hassan Reddick guy, so I had to find it. I was like, there's something in here that he's missing.
Hey, that was a lot of fun hanging out with you and Rad. I had a great time. That was
awesome.
That was good.
We need to get you back on. We have to get you back on. That was one of my favorite shows I've ever done, and that's not just saying it. That was actually, that flowed so well. So we will get you back on for sure.
Sounds good. No, man, Charles Harris, I'm a huge fan of him. My one thing about him that where I really struggled was, all right, you had one really good season, that was, and it's tough because it was kind of like a prove it deal for him. And so I kind of took a step back and I wanted to re-sign him. $7 million a year when you kind of flesh it out. I'm like, man, I would have loved a little bit less. However, I think he really did prove it. He stepped up in a big way. And so for that, I think you earned your dollar bills. And I like that we're signing him for 2 years to say, we see what you did. And we want to extend it just enough where it's not another 1 year, $10 million deal. And then kind of like the DJ Chark deal where you're like, oh man, we're going to have to probably pay you next year. That feeling. So definitely very good with it. Very good with it. I was like, all right, Charles Harris is a guy I think we should re-sign. The 1 year, prove it. Kind of freaked me out a little bit. But all in all, I think he deserves it because he played well.
Yeah, I mean, and that seems to be the approach they're taking with a lot of guys. And, of course, guys that were already here. But, I mean, just look at all the 1 year deals they're giving out. They're all kind of like, okay, see what you can do. And they did the same thing last year. But I think to see them do it again kind of tells you that this is part of their process. This is how they're going to do it. They're going to give you a shot. And they're not signing guys that are 32 years old to 1 year deals. Like, okay, you were good this year, but I don't know if I'll resign you because you're old now. But they're getting guys that are young. So it's like, if you played well, and I think the good thing with Charles, if I remember correctly, I don't think he's had like tons of injury issues in the past. I don't think. I just think it was getting his opportunity, which is nice. It's not like I'm just worried about, okay, well, he's just missed so much time. I don't know if he's going to be healthy the next 2 years. So that's the good thing here. By the way, chat, can we hit the like button because I'm seeing they got a new animation, which looks pretty fire, and it's worth the try to at least do that. That's pretty clean. I see you, YouTube. Okay.
Wow, Dose, my man. Make it just bring in the fire, bring in all the heat today. I appreciate it, dude.
Absolutely. I'm glad. I'm happy to be here. I love it. I love talking Lions, man.
Tell me about it. No, man. I'm looking in like First of all, also, yeah, thank you, chat. Thank you, Chrome, Nothing, John Bradshaw. I see you guys out there. Penultimate. You brought up really happy that we're keeping so many guys, and I agree, which really brings me to a J favorite. One guy I was really hoping that we would take back is Khalif Raymond.
Oh, okay.
Khalif
okay,
Raymond.
This was the stream video, huh? This was the water video here.
Yes. No, dude. I love Khalif Raymond. He $9.5 million for 2 years, and I believe some of that's incentive based. I want to say it was guaranteed 5 or 6. I actually don't know it off the top of my head, but I know some of that is incentive based, which I love. I love incentives. I love making the guys fight for it. Khalif Raymond as a whole, how did you feel about him last year? Did he make you comfortable? Did he kind of just fill a role? Like, where were you last year and where are you now?
Yeah, well, I think I read something today. I'm pretty sure like 4 million is incentives. So I don't know if that's completely accurate, but I think I saw that, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Last year, I was kind of in a weird spot with him, but it was kind of in a weird spot with a lot of our receivers just because the production in the pass game was just not there for so long.
Yeah.
With Khalif, though, looking at it, when you see the deal kind of that he got, I think he brings things to the table that teams like. Like, first off, he's a good punt returner, which we saw Jamal Agnew get paid a lot of money. He's a great punt returner and kick return, but he got paid a lot of money from Jacksonville for a guy that's rarely played receiver. So I know Khalif brings that. He's a reliable punt returner, which is just part of it. But also, we did see him play inside, outside. And I think a guy his size usually thinking, well, he doesn't really have a role on the outside. But to step up and kind of, in certain games, he stepped up. Like LA stuck out. He stepped up and he basically took us down the field twice himself on the outside, which is really tough for a guy at his size. I don't love the size, but you need guys like that can kind of mix it up, willing to block, just those physical players. And for him, I thought there was a couple drafts there which I didn't love. But I think at the price point, like if the Lions didn't bring him back, and I said this before, and we signed Ray McLeod, I would have been disappointed because to me, this guy has shown play on the outside, can play inside and punt return. One of the best punt returners in the league. The production was good, so I'm happy we got him back as well.
Good. No, man, I'm with you. And I think that you put it perfectly. If they didn't bring him back and they brought somebody like Ray McLeod, if they brought somebody back at that caliber, it's just sort of that feeling of like, what are we doing? What are we doing now? Like, Raymond knows the offense. He knows he's working with Goff. He feels good. He feels great under the coaching. And like you said, one of the greatest things at his size, his willingness to block blew my mind. Like, he just put his body out on the line multiple times where I was just like, man, I'm watching TJ Hawkinson dropping blocks left and right.
Yes.
And TJ Hawkinson's a little bit bigger than him. So, like,
a little bit, yeah.
I just think Khalif Raymond was such a fun addition to the team because I didn't expect him to be as good as he really proved himself to be.
Absolutely. He's an outstanding route runner. And I was watching some of the Baltimore game, like the condensed version, just because I was doing something else. And I had it on, and I'm seeing some of the plays he's making. I'm like, he's a good receiver, man. Like, if that guy came in and he was the final receiver on my depth chart versus last year where he became the starter, that's a really awesome spot to have a guy like that. Because I could put him anywhere. Now, having him as my 2, I feel a little bit less comfortable, but that hopefully is not the case this year. If he earns it, cool. But I just doubt that will be the case. But as my 6th, I'm feeling good. Feeling good about a receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, the wide receiver room in general is going to be very interesting with the return of Quintinceps. Because I don't remember exactly what game he went out. It felt like it was pretty early.
Vikings.
It was Vikings?
Yeah. He was like week 5, I think.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because Quintinceps, he was showing a lot of that, like, oh, you're in your sophomore year. We're seeing you start to blossom. And then obviously the injury that really killed us. But the addition of DJ Chark, we're going to get into it. I don't want to jump the gun because I'm thinking about the wide receiver.
I'll say some stuff. I got you.
All right. Couple more. Center Evan Brown, $2 million for 1 year. You see that coming?
No, not at all. We had you on my show, and I was like, he just makes more sense that he would go elsewhere and try to go to a place where he's got a shot. I would think maybe the Lions said, look, you're going to have a shot to compete for guard. I mean, I would tell him it. Like, even if he doesn't get it, I'd give him the shot. Why not? You can compete for the guard position, and maybe you're our future guard. Who knows? Now, I don't know if that's his best fit based on just his play style now, but if he knows he can compete for it, bulks up a little bit, starts to run block, it's like, okay, maybe. So I would give him that side of it. And I'm just shocked that he came back. I really am. Like,
Yeah.
even as a backup center, the price tag is not expensive. $2 million cap it this year to pay a backup center that's that good. Absolutely worth the money. 100% worth the money. So that one shocked me because there was no way I thought that would be the case. I thought the Lions finessed somebody there. Someone just did not watch the film. They're like, Evan Brown, we don't know who that guy is. Let's just not even look at him.
Yeah.
So maybe he just went completely under the radar. I don't know how, but I'm glad he did. Not, sort of. I'm kind of glad he did because we got him back.
Yeah. No, and that's the one thing. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because when I was on your show, you brought him up. You talked about him and really probably wanting to go seek elsewhere. And so there was surprise seeing him come back, because I think he proved himself to be a good player and all that he was capable of doing, filling in after Ragnow's injury. And I look at him, and even Devin Peters popping it in here. Love the Evan Brown signing. Did not expect it to happen. So especially for that minimal, it felt like I was like, all right, this is sweet. I'm very happy about it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how we did it, but we did it, and I'm glad he's back.
Excellent. Last guy I really want to talk about when it comes to who the Lions re-signed. Also, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody for being here. If you could like the stream, according to the world, it helps. I don't really know if it does, but other people say it.
That's true.
I never really tested it, so let's test it out. The last guy the Lions are re-signing, QB Tim Boyle.
I'm not. You know what? I'm just saying that because I know what the reaction was when I saw the signing. Most Lions fans' reaction. Okay, I want to hear your reaction. Can you give me your reaction first? I just got to know where you're at with this.
My reaction was wide-eyed and mystified. I was like, okay. When Tim Boyle originally came here, your boy was hyped. I was hyped because I saw him and I saw that 2019 preseason, and I put on Seabiscuit blinders and didn't look at his college performance at all. I was like, I don't even want to look. I know it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I watched him that 2019 preseason and really hoping that his time under Aaron Rodgers gave him a certain boost. And one thing we knew about him was he has a cannon. He has a musket for an arm. And like a musket, as I said in a recent video, it's just wildly inaccurate. So watching Tim Boyle come in here and his performance last year just let me down over and over again. It let me down over and over again. His accuracy was such, like the Great British Baking Show. What a shame. What a shame. It just was never up to par.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean, I was hyped at first, and then last year I was like, I don't think we should bring him back. I really don't. I think we can find somebody else. However, for the money, it beats Chase Daniels for $12 million a year.
This is true. Well, I know he brought one thing with him that was not. He brought the what was it? The hard count with him. I thought he brought that, which was nice. I actually thought Goff might have learned something from him because that game that he played, he got him to jump a couple times. You see Goff come in and he's trying to do it. I'm like, okay, he brought that with him.
Okay,
you're right. The accuracy was very hit and miss. It wasn't very great. With Tim Boyle, I'm not mad at the re-signing though. I know most of the reaction was not good, but I'm actually cool with the re-signing. And I know it sounds wild, but I gave it a solid grade because I think the price tag you got him at, which backup quarterbacks were kind of expensive. This you brought up Chase Daniel. I mean, even Colt McCoy, I'm pretty sure got paid more than this guy. So there's that. I didn't think they'd bring back both David Blau and Tim Boyle. That kind of surprised me. I don't know what Blau's contract is. My only thought is that Blau is going to have like barely any guarantees, and it's just like we may draft someone, we may sign someone, and there's zero guarantee you're making the roster. You're just kind of a placeholder now for the third quarterback spot. That's what I'm thinking. So I was surprised that both came back, but I did think that, we know Boyle missed a lot of the season with an injury. I definitely felt like they liked Boyle. Like there was that clear sense that, okay, they like Boyle. And then we saw him in his first game, and he only had 77 passing yards, which was not a lot. And that was a bad game, very bad. The 2 picks, the Josh Reynolds bomb, and then it just did not look good. We almost won the game, by the way, with 77 passing yards, which should count for something.
You're right.
But the way that he came back versus Atlanta, I thought was really solid. I thought Atlanta was a really solid game.
Was that the game that he threw the pick right at the end, and that's when we lost?
Threw the pick right at the end. Yes.
Yeah,
wrong
because
read,
he forced
the
it.
pick, and bam,
He forced it. Ugh, that's sorry. Go ahead.
Forced it big time. No, you're absolutely right. And up to that point, I was like, okay, he's playing pretty solid. It wasn't perfect, the accuracy. The one he threw it straight over, I think St. Brown's head in the end zone. I mean, it was like, how do you miss by that much? What's going on here? So
I'm telling you,
you can miss. But he threw it into the crowd. I was like, how does that happen? But it was a nice improvement, And
yeah.
The Seattle game is just hard to get over because everything was, I'm just going to say it was garbage in that game. But you did see improvement, which was nice. And, I mean, I don't have an issue with bringing it back. I really don't. I gave it a solid grade because of the price tag, and I think they like him. Plus, he's young enough where it's like, okay, I mean, I can see why you did it. He got you through things. I don't have an issue because he did improve, but it definitely wasn't great last year. So I think the good thing is it kept him on a cheap price tag for us. That's the benefit.
Absolutely. It's a cheap price tag, and I think with a little bit more time to develop under Mark Brunell, this coaching staff, man, if he could dial in that accuracy, because I just want to say, like, you look at Josh Allen, and what was the first thing everybody said about him? Kid can hit the broadside of a barn. And, like, he goes and he works on it. And, like, every QB is different. I'm not saying anybody can be Josh Allen. What I'm saying is I think there's opportunity and accuracy. If he can hone in on that and stop playing Battleship with an opponent who didn't put any ships out, maybe we'll be okay.
Hey, come on, man. Where are you coming up with this stuff? That's like 3 good ones I've heard you put out.
Listen, my mind, all I think of are analogies. It's really bad. It's
good. I like it. I like it. You bring the analogies to the table. I don't know if I've ever used one, but you've used 3 in the last 2 minutes, and I love it.
All about Tim Boyle's accuracy.
But I think there's something is to be said, though, about, like, comfortability, and just in an offense, because, like, we see accuracy, I think, a lot of times, too, and he was inaccurate big time. But I also think you're right, more time and off, because, I mean, he missed so much practice where they had to like him, because it wasn't like, okay, let's go with Blau instead. It's like, nope, we're going to wait till Boyle gets back. And when I feel like you see a guy that's comfortable with the timing, accuracy starts to look better. I even look at a guy like Goff. His accuracy got better in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Seemingly because the timing, the trust, where they're going to be. For Boyle, I never felt like there was an issue with trust with him. It was just maybe some of the timing was off too. And passes like that to St. Brown, how are you an NFL quarterback and you're throwing in the stands? Like, there's something there. You know what I mean? There's something to that where it just feels like playtime. That's what it feels like to me. But You're right. Super inaccurate last year.
No, but you're right, man. I think you give somebody that first start, I was like, oh, man, he just looks so shaky. He just looks so young and green. He just looked green. And so, like, you give him a couple starts, and all in all, I think Boyle does have what it takes. It's just a matter of getting there. And so one of the biggest things that we saw was what was supposed to be our number one position group last year. And when they all died, basically, when they all just dropped dead like flies with all the injuries, the O-line, all of a sudden, Goff is getting hit. Goff is getting hurt. He's scrambling for his life. And then you put Boyle into a similar situation. So, no, man, I think you're right. The price tag made it for me like a C. It's like, just gonna put a C on it.
Average.
You passed.
Okay,
yeah,
you passed.
Chemistry is difficult, but you passed.
Okay.
So
that's all that matters. That's all that. As long as he looked good doing it, you know what I'm saying.
And you know what? With that flow, my guy was looking good.
Yeah, he was.
And he had like the
took that from Rodgers too. See, he took a couple things from Rodgers. We see you. We see you.
Maybe not an MVP award, but he got the flow.
That's true. He does. He's got the look, just not the play. Hopefully,
we'll get there.
Hopefully.
All right, man. So those are kind of the Lions that we re-signed that I wanted to hear your opinion regarding. I see a lot of people in the chat starting to get into the Baker conversation. So everybody, hold your horses, because we will get there. Thank you, everybody, for liking the stream, for throwing your thoughts in the chat. It's very sweet of you. Like a gingerbread house that we're all building together and living inside. Too many analogies. I'm going to back it up. Lions free agents, or non-Lions, that we have signed. Let's start out with wide receiver DJ Chark. 1 year, $10 million. What you think?
So I don't think I was as hyped as a lot of people were. I think there was a lot of hype just because it was finally a signing that wasn't our guy. It was like, oh, we got some money.
Yeah.
So that was great, but again, that's kind of weird how I've seen the contract set up. The amount of, there's going to be, to me, I don't know exactly how this works, but I think because of the money that's on next year as a void year, I think it's over $5 million because his cap hit's kept down this year. So it's like we're paying that for him not being here. So I'm thinking if he plays well and you just resign him, it'll just all kind of become part of one. And it's like, okay, it's just like his new contract money. So I guess that may work out. I'm assuming that's how it works. But the thing is just the injuries to me that I'm concerned with a little bit, and we saw it last year, but he's had that issue multiple times in his career. He's had multiple ankle issues. So the injuries are concerning, but I do like that we didn't put him on a multi-year because of that. Yeah. But I also think he brings what we need. I mean, he brings speed. He brings the ability to take the top off. He's just in a really bad spot, kind of like Allen Robinson. It's just a really bad spot to be in with that Jaguars offense, especially last year. Wow. Okay. But,
yeah,
the deal was good. The size, the speed, he brings all the things that you want when you're building a player to the table. And he's a good player. It's just the injuries that concern me a little bit. But I like the deal we gave him.
Absolutely. No, I think you're right. And the truth, just bringing the truth like the hammer. DJ Chark dealt with an ankle injury and a moron coach, Urban. Yeah, I think DJ Chark, the 1 year, I like the 1 year due to the injuries, right? Like the injury is something that I'm like, okay, kind of freaks me out. It's the ankle. However, when I look at him and I look at his speed, at his size, and on the outside, that's something that we need. And all in all, I'm like, let's do it. I like it. He feels like he's going to fit into the scheme and into the culture so well. It's a guy battling back, giving it all he's got, and I really like what we have seen from him. He was a Pro Bowler, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and he dealt with the injury, and that's just tough. So I love that we gave him that shot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think he said it in his presser here. It sounded very familiar to Goff's when he's like, I just want to be in a place where I'm wanted. And it's like, okay, that's what you're – I mean, the situation he's coming from was like the bottom of bottom. You may have won 3 games, but even like he said, it wasn't like how we won 3. Whereas towards the end of the year, we're battling. For them, I don't know how they pulled out 3 wins.
I don't know.
Cheat codes, I don't know. But
one of them was against the Bills.
And that's a terrible situation to be a part of with that coaching staff. Awful part. But – you brought up receiver earlier, and I think this makes receiver position very interesting because if we just go based on what Antoine Randall L said, sign a free agent, they brought back their 2 guys that he wanted to, and then you draft 2 receivers. Now, to me, it feels like you're not signing another free agent receiver, which I'm cool with. I don't think we need to. So if this is the free agent receiver, that's cool. But with his injuries, I definitely still want to get a top receiver or who you feel like is top receiver in this draft. Just because if he's injured, then we're back to basically the same core you had for the second half of last season, which was an okay core, but it wasn't great. And I think we could use more there. So I think you grab another receiver, you have him with Chark, let them battle it out. And then maybe you get one towards the end who potentially could make the team. You keep 7 receivers because Cephas feels like the guy that has the biggest potential to, be kind of flexible, like whether you keep him or not. He's the only guy that feels like he's not a lock, but since he's on his rookie deal, and like you said, he played well last year, you can't move on from the guy.
Yeah.
So it makes the receiver position interesting. What do you think about that?
No, you bring up a great point. The wide receiver room, compared to last year where it was not fun to talk about, I'm kind of excited to look at what we're going to do here because you've got the emergence of St. Brown who came out of nowhere. And I think he really, not out of nowhere, but I think he really blossomed and became something because of the lack of depth, the lack of experience in the wide receiver room. We were able to target him much more. And so you got St. Brown, you've got Cephas coming back. From there, we brought back Josh Reynolds, who feels like wide receiver 1, in my opinion. And then DJ Chark, Khalif Raymond. Like, I'm excited about this. I think there's no more excuses for, well, the Lions don't have any wide receivers. I think we do. We saw what we got out of St. Brown. Josh Reynolds, you saw Jared Goff really step up the moment Josh Reynolds came here. And now Josh Reynolds knows the playbook. Like, it took him a couple games. It took him like 2 games to really, you could see him running the routes and whatnot and getting his mind right for the game, understanding the playbook. So like Khalif Raymond, DJ Chark now on the outside, like I'm saying, all in all, I'm very excited about this wide receiver room. And Quintinceps, I really hope that he bounces back, not just as a Lions fan, but just as like a human. I hate seeing injuries and then guys tapering off and just getting shuffled out. Kerryon Johnson's one of them, you know?
Yeah, that was super unfortunate.
Yeah, and that one always hurts because by game 6, 2 years in a row, his knee's busted, and now you're like, he goes to Philly, gets dropped, whatever. It's sad. It's sad to see. So I really do hope for Quintinceps' sake that, I mean, I know it's his collarbone, so I feel like that's different than your legs as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he should. You would hope he's be all right.
Oh, my God. Mostly Sports dropping in. How does this guy not have more subs? Mostly Sports. It's really sweet of you, man. Very kind. Thank you. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? This dude's doing videos in the woods. All right, look, that's like the Blair Witch type of stuff. So if you guys are not subscribing, what are we doing? That's risking life for the Lions content. I love it.
Oh my God! I'll tell you what. It's very interesting. Is you can see the YouTube analytics, and like 50% of you guys out there are not subbed to the channel, watching the videos on the regular. And I'm just gonna say that hurts my heart. And instead of shooting it with an arrow, shoot it with a Cupid arrow.
I like that.
I don't. Just subscribe, please. Thank you for liking this video. Thanks for hanging out, everybody here. Let's see. Moving on from DJ Chark. Tight end Garrett Griffin. I haven't seen any terms yet on the deal. I don't know if I've just missed it.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything?
I have not. No. I mean, there may be something out there. I guess I don't have it, though. So maybe not. I'm going to assume it's pretty cheap, though. I think we could barely say it would be very cheap.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that the Garrett Griffin signing is in a way, obviously we're looking for depth at that position. Do you think it's to kind of nudge TJ Hawkinson to, I don't know, maybe care a little bit more?
I don't know, because I don't know if this does that. You know what I mean? Like this, to me, this signing doesn't do that.
Yeah, it
depth. Feels like if exactly. Like I feel like Brock Wright's gonna push this guy more than TJ Hawkinson, but he makes me think of Josh Hill. Like, I mean, of course he's from the Saints.
Yeah,
I think they were the same age when they both signed here. The only thing is just hopefully he doesn't retire, but it makes you think of a guy like Josh Hill. He'll block. You know, I know he's spending time with like in the Air Force right now, but very physical player. And I think to me, when you see like what the Saints did last year, or because I think we're going to do some things that the Saints have done, it just makes sense that we would. And now we got this new offensive coach coming in, working with the Saints. It's like, okay, yeah, this is going to make sense. But with the Saints, they mix up so much personnel, blockers, they have tight ends, fullbacks, and they kind of just all fuse together where it's like you can kind of do everything. You're not like, okay, you're a tight end, you're stuck on the line. No, you can bounce back, line of fullback, like there's so many different positions we could put you at. He feels like another guy that can do that, where, yeah, I have Kabinda back, but they could both be on the field at the same time and both block. Like we go to some full house sets and he could block in there. And if Jason Kabinda is not healthy or he's on COVID, now he kind of just plugs right into that spot. So, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a very expensive signing to push Hawk. But do you think he will?
No, he won't.
Okay.
Nah, it's just, to me, I was like, all right, it's depth. I wanted somebody to really like, not I don't know. Hawkinson's a lock at tight end. I just want more from him. I think he's capable of so much more, and he's just a little sloppy. He's just a little bit like, I've got nothing to push me, to motivate me to say that I need to fight for my position, right? And he's not Travis Kelce caliber, at least not yet. So like I look at it and I'm like, man, I just think that I want somebody or something to really make him fight for that job and to say, yeah, I want to be here and I want to be a part of this rebuild to that degree, because he was just so sloppy last year. It drove me nuts.
No, it's very true. And I feel like for the Lions, you don't have to tell him this, but you can look at him and be like, look, we don't need to get you a guy to push you because we know where your contract's at and your 5th year's coming up, right? I think, or either that or you have to get extended soon. So we know your contract's at, and there has to be that self-motivation that we look at you as a guy, you were a top pick. So if you go out and prove it, just like everybody else, you'll get re-signed. But there's definitely no guarantee, because I think based on what he did last year, you can't, like you said, sign him to that Kelce money.
No.
So if you want to be here, you better push yourself, because you were that pick for a reason. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You don't have to bring in a guy to push you. But I get what you're saying completely, because it would be nice to have somebody like that.
Yes. No, you nailed it, and that's Full Metal Savage. Do we re-sign him? I'm on the fence. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, it's less of being on the fence because he's a great player. I am just like, it depends on how much you're asking for based on your gameplay, because I believe that he could be so much better. There's that sloppy, the amount of penalties we're seeing, the holding calls, the false starts, and you're like, Hawkinson, oh, come on, my guy, like you're better than this. Yep. And that's discipline. And if you don't know how to have discipline, go play a game of wiffle ball, because that takes the most discipline ever to not swing at a pitch. I'm telling you, man, wiffle ball discipline.
You get them bats that are like that thick, you really got to lock in, man.
You got to lock in. Sometimes a curveball comes from back. I played competitive wiffle ball for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you, man.
Okay. Let's break it down.
I'm serious. You take some discipline not to swing the bat.
Wow, that's good. That's good advice. You should send that to him. Let him know.
I'm trying.
Let him know. We can start a wiffle ball league. TJ, if you want to join, this will get you right.
I got you. Yeah. Hawkinson's it's kind of on the fence for me. But yeah. And then we have 2 defensive guys that we just signed. I believe both of them were today. It feels like everything's blending together. Cornerback Mike Hughes from Kansas City, $3.5 million for 1 year, and then Chris Board from Balti, which I have not seen his dollar bills yet.
Yes, me neither. I don't think I've seen anything on that.
So between the 2 of those, like for me, I'll kind of take this one. Oh, I lost you.
Yep, here we go. I'll switch over. We good. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'll just bounce you out.
All right.
And then while Dose is fixing that up, I think I can hear you.
We look good for a minute, man. Now we have to adjust. All right.
We did.
Oh, wow. Oh, I see what the issue is. Okay.
Take your time, no worries. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out, for liking the stream, because we're just doing what we can here for you.
Do I need to refresh?
Yeah, Ian Saunders. Yeah, maybe refresh your page. I'll bounce you out for a sec. Ian, my guy, good to see you. Ben Johnson will whip Hawk into shape this year. Yeah, I love Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson was a solid OC move, especially watching the Senior Bowl video that Inside the Den put out. I really believe that Ben Johnson's going to be phenomenal. Plus, I mean, you look at him as the tight ends coach, what he was able to do. He started crafting a lot of the plays when Anthony Lynn, that entire switch kind of happened. But yeah, very excited. Let me just get rid of these things for now. Waiting on him to get back here. Inside the Den was amazing. In fact, I don't know about you guys. I was telling Dose just a minute ago, right before we started, the video, if you guys haven't seen it, it was Sheila Ford Hamp, and she was being interviewed by Danny Rogers, just kind of talking about this season, talking about this year. Hold on, Dose is texting me over here. But yeah, watching the Sheila video and listening to her, I'm just so glad to have her at the top. And it's really hard because I think as Lions fans, we have so much frustration from years past. We have so much frustration of the organization has sucked for so long, especially like the front office, that people hear the Ford name and it's immediately like, ugh, I don't want anything to do with her. And so like when she got booed at Calvin Johnson's ring ceremony at the field, like that was a bummer, because I look at Sheila and she has done wonders for us, and it all stems from the top. All right, Dose of Dion's coming back in 3, 2, 1. My guy.
Am I back?
Yeah, you back. And like the Chance the Rapper, and we back. I'm not gonna sing it because I can't, but you know what I'm talking about.
I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah.
My bad. Hey, you know what?
You're good.
I told you before, I'm like, this may just happen. It might just die, and that's where we're at. I wanted to give you guys a little throwback to what we used to look like.
Yes. You know what? And I really love that you did that, Dose, because what you're showing is everybody watching now what they get today and what they got in the past. That was a good move. That was a really smart move.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's the evolution of the quality. So
Oh my
that's what I was
God.
hoping to share with the people. Words of wisdom. Sorry.
No,
Hey,
I love it.
no, good to be back. All right, cool, cool. Did I miss something?
No, yeah. So I actually just started talking about the Sheila video because you and I were
Ooh, that's
talking
good
about it
stuff.
earlier, and so Gain on Pluto, he just kind of commented regarding it. But yeah, tell me, because as I was saying, I think that Sheila has done a phenomenal job from the top down, and really, what a shame it was at Calvin Johnson's ring ceremony or Hall of Fame ceremony when she got booed. Like,
Yeah.
it was Lions fans taking frustration out on the past because you look at Sheila, and I know our record doesn't reflect it this last year, but the woman wants to win.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. When he came out and when you heard her go up there and try to talk and you really couldn't hear what she was saying, I couldn't help but feel just bad for her.
Yeah.
And I get why it was a thing. I do, but I didn't love it, especially because it was pointed at Sheila. And to what you said, I thought since she's taken over, right? And I know she fired Patricia and those guys, but those again they weren't her guys, and this is an issue we've had at the top. However, her taking kind of that step to say, I'm going to be involved. I'm not going to go ask for someone to help me. Who do I hire? I'm going to just bring in my guys, Chris Spielman, bring in you guys, and you guys are going to help me figure this out. And she's stuck to it. We're seeing now that she's not, I was involved then. Now I'm just kind of backing up. She's staying through it. And she even was talking about the plan. So to me, when they broke down that plan, said this is what it's going to be, she bought into that. She said, I'm with the plan, and this is how we're going to go forward with it. And she's completely bought into what the plan is and how they're going to build this thing. And I think you need someone like that. You need someone to believe in the guys that are running the organization. She hired them. She took the process to learn all she could about these guys. And since they're her people, they're her guys that she brought in to run this thing, she's bought into them. And it should keep her from like getting, blinded by, okay, well, this is the record right now, so we got to make these big moves. It's like, nah, stick to what the plan was. But it also, I think, and I got to get your thoughts on this, because I think one thing we've also lacked in the past was, because probably we weren't close enough, setting those kind of baselines for what exactly should get you hired, what should keep you from being fired, what should keep you around. It always felt like it was kind of in the moment, right? Like, okay, we're going to just fire you now. Even the last firing to me, yes. Should it have happened? Yes. But when it happened, it felt kind of just random. It was like, okay, we have 4 weeks left of the year. We're going to fire you now.
Yeah.
Why now? What is the reason for now? And I know those weren't, her guys when they were hired, but that's who then, took over when she stepped down. So she was now working with them, and she fired him. So I get why she did it, but that's always kind of seemed to be the thing from the top down, is we don't really know exactly what the plan is. We don't have certain guidelines, certain baselines that you got to hit to keep your job, to keep showing progression. It just felt kind of random. All right, things are going well, fire him. It's like, that's how can you grow? Because there's going to be steps back. Every good team takes steps back. I mean, look at the Chiefs. They had a losing record this year. Do you fire the coach after that? No, you don't fire the coach, because you see the outlook, right? So I think that is what's beneficial, being that close to it, is that you kind of have where they need to get to, but you understand the direction because you understood it when you hired them.
Mm-hmm. No, my God, you nailed it. I got nothing to say. I love it. I love it, and I agree. I think that has been something that we have done in the past. It's just like this 3-year, 4-year stint, get rid of them. And yeah, I agree about the Matt Patricia Bob Quinn. And that's why I look at this year and I'm like, yeah, I see some people in the chat kind of ripping Sheila apart. And I'm like, no, I disagree with you. I think Sheila is phenomenal. You know why? Because Sheila went out and she said, I'm going to do it the right way. And she hired Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes is a phenomenal general manager. He absolutely killed the draft last year. Why? Because he was a talent scout for years. And that's what he did in LA. And you look at who he was able to scout, what he was able to do, him coming here, and the rebuild, the process, everything's about the culture of Detroit. For years, forever. Did people even want to come play here? I'm going to say no. However, for the first time ever, people are saying, I want to go play there. I want to be a part of that team. Like, as this rebuild is happening, you could tell there are people that say, I want to be a part of this. And that starts at the top. So if you don't like Sheila, that's fine. Don't like her. I think she's doing the right thing. And if in 3 years this all falls apart, come on back, write a comment, let me know. But if it does succeed, you'll remember this moment.
Well, I mean, and even to me, even if it like, okay, let's say she whiffs and it doesn't work out, but it was still, it was your decision to go get them. I mean, we don't even feel like we have a person to point to, right? In the past, like, who do we
Yeah.
point to? Whose fault is this? Because you're not even searching for the next head coach GM.
Right.
What are you doing as an owner if you're not finding those guys?
Absolutely.
Seriously, because at that point, you're just sitting back. I mean, what is your job at that point? So taking that in, even if it fails, you brought that in, you made the decision to go hire them, and you put that on your plate that these are the guys that are going to do it. So now you're with them to go and do it. And I think it's just more structured. I just feel like you can't have it all over the place where you have no goals, no expectations. It's just kind of like, dang, this is not as good as we thought it was going to be. So you're fired now.
Yeah.
And then when you constantly have, changes in the top, new guy steps in, they're not even the people they hired. So it's like, okay, well, these aren't my people, I'm going to fire them. It's too much. It's too chaotic. We need some consistency at the top to, I think, have it at the bottom. And even at that Patricia year, yes, they said they wanted to be, a playoff contender, right? But you still fired them out. It wasn't like they were out of the playoffs. It wasn't like they were eliminated. You just kind of fired them, right? I mean, it was very unlikely. You had to probably win your last 5 games, but it was still kind of just like all right, we played a bad Thanksgiving game. This is embarrassing. You're fired. But there didn't, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't that, okay, we saw that you didn't earn up to it. Same person's going to fire the same person that hired you. It didn't work. I messed up. That's what I like. It feels more accountability here, and hopefully she sticks through it, because so far she's stuck with it.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. And I really think at this point, like, watching the way that it's all kind of going downhill, the snowball's rolling, there's no reason not to. There's no reason not to based off of last year. And I don't care that the record, we only had 3 wins. You look at those games that we were in, that we lost in the last second due to a field goal. I'm just saying, I think the Lions are trending upward. And I know, like, some people, they hear me say that out and about, and they disagree, and that's fine. But we're trending upward, Dose.
Hey, I believe it. And I believe it, man.
I know you do. And that's what I love. And because to me, I'm like, there's false optimism, and then there's a realistic look. And I don't think you or myself or some of the other YouTubers that we're dealing with are falsely optimistic. I think we have something to realistically be optimistic about, and that is lovely.
Hey, as long as you can back up your reasoning for what you're saying, I'll get it. Because I felt like last year what I was saying, it wasn't just I'm trying to be crazy. I was like, I think this is what's going to happen. But then I learned from the year. I'm like, all right, I messed up. We don't have the backups. I thought we did. I didn't even think about that. I never pay attention to the depth. I mean, who's like coming in the year? Okay, who's our third string? I don't care. So I didn't care about that. But as soon as it got to that, it was like, oh, snap, we're not good here. So now it's like I can add that and be like, okay, we need to make sure we have depth, and we're starting to see that put together. And I can't help but be excited because I'm like, I trust my third string at this point to go get it done, because I've already seen him get it done. And even Sheila Fordham talked about that.
Yep, nailed it. Yep, absolutely. She did talk about it. And I'm like, thank God. Like, I don't know. I'm excited. And I also do want to just throw this out there. Honolulu Blue Sparty. Love this. This is the slowest talking channel, which would be me, and the fastest talking Lions channel, which would be you. Both awesome guys. Hey, Honolulu Blue Sparty. Thank you. It's very sweet of you. Oh,
very
good.
True.
All right. Well, yeah, something that I know we're coming up to the end here, so I just want to be able to talk about everything that I wanted to talk about with you, and see a lot of people in the chat were mentioning Malik Willis.
Ooh.
How? Because he had his pro day. So here we are. How do I say it? I guess the first thing to bring up before we get to Malik Willis is Baker Mayfield. Forget about the money. Okay. Forget about the money. Forget about Goff's dead cap. Forget about the 18 mil over on Baker's contract. If you could have Baker Mayfield, would you take him? Would you take him as your quarterback for the Detroit Lions?
I like what you said coming into this, because Baker's personality is awesome, and because Michigan fans. So when they beat Ohio State, Oklahoma did. That was like the first time I like this dude. He's jamming the flag in the O. I'm like, this is amazing. I love this guy, and I like Cleveland's got to take him. They took him. I love the personality of the guy. Now I know that can be kind of hit and miss. You can be a little bit, sometimes, but you could honestly argue both sides are bad. Like some people say, well, I want an even keel quarterback. Other guys are like, I want that guy that's, firing everybody up. So it's just kind of preference, I guess. But then it just comes down to how do they perform on the field. And I thought last year he gets a little bit too much disrespect. I know he didn't play well, but he was also hurt. And what quarterbacks be like, yeah, I'm not playing. Like if you feel like you can play, he's going to go out there and try to play. Maybe they should have made the decision to play the backup and give him a better shot. But the quarterback, my quarterback's not making that decision. My head coach can make that decision. But before that year, he played well. Rookie year was outstanding. The year before was great. I mean, not great, but it was good. And he won the playoff game. Would I take him over Baker? I'm going to say no. It's not that I don't like the guy. I do like Baker Mayfield. But I also like Goff. And, I am sticking on that train. I think Goff is a good quarterback. And I definitely think he could be the future here. But I understand I'm not sending heat and fireballs at Baker Mayfield because I feel like he gets a little bit too much disrespect. And I think it's kind of wild how the Browns handled that situation with a guy that won a playoff game for you. It just feels bad. It does. I feel bad for the dude, but hopefully he gets a chance somewhere.
Man. Nah, dude, I think you
well, let him know, man. Let him know. You want Baker? You want Baker or not?
So some things that I'm thinking that I'm feeling about Baker, when the news came out with the whole Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns, everything going on there, my initial thoughts about Baker was like, when he was coming into the draft, man, that guy has the attitude that I want in Detroit. He walks with, as I was talking to you about, he's got that what'd you call it, the Conor McGregor swag, right?
Yes.
Like he just thinks he's bigger than he is. He's the little dog at the big dog fight. And that attitude would translate really well as the Detroit grittiness that, like, I'm here and I don't care that I'm playing for Detroit. I don't care that I'm wearing Honolulu blue. I'm going to kick your butt. I love that attitude. But as I was saying to you before we started recording, the one thing that scares me is also a little bit of that attitude, because you're rolling with a D20 and critical fails could happen all day, like D&D. Baker Mayfield freaks me out in the aspect of it was coming out that he was just going to hold out this year, and I don't want that. I don't want a quarterback who's willing to hold out against his club, against his organization. The Kyler Murray thing going on. Like, I don't want that coming into our locker room. And this is where I'm like, I have complete and utter faith in Brad Holmes, in Dan Campbell, that if they were to come out, get at the podium and just say, we just signed number 6, I'm all for it. I'm here for it. I'm probably going and getting a Baker Mayfield jersey immediately.
Wait, so you're saying that he's threatened to hold out last year? Is that what you're saying?
So I heard a report that he was threatening to hold out this year.
Okay. And that was before the trade went down.
That was before the trade, and so that was something that I heard earlier today. So I was like, oh, shoot. Like, if that's the attitude, if that's your quarterback, your number 1 is going to lead with that type of attitude, I don't want it. And so that's where I'm like, if Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell were able to sit down with this guy and be like, wow, we trust him, we believe in him, and we're going to go somewhere with him, I'd be like, hey, all right.
Hey, didn't Deshaun Watson sit out, or am I missing something? Didn't he sit out before he had all the issues? Like, all things pop up? I think he did, man. And that's a good point to bring up. You don't want a guy like that because you know where we're at as a team, and you need a guy that's going to lead. And I get what you're saying. I love the fiery aspect. I love the style that he plays with. I mean, I would be so excited to have a guy with that style. But at the same time, I'm also cool with the guy that can, just kind of stay quiet. He doesn't need to be loud because, I don't feel like I'm like that loud, out there. So I'm cool with a guy like that. Handle your business, lead by example, go do my thing. And, that can be the same guy that, is going to come back week after week. He's not going to sit out because of an injury. He's just going to keep fighting. And that's one thing I'll give Baker credit for, but it's also an area where I thought we saw Goff last year kind of do the same thing.
Yeah. No, see, like, it's tough because I look at Jared Goff and he's a guy that, I said it, I think last time I was on live, I was on Woodward Sports and I told them, I was like, I think that he's more than a bridge QB. I really do. I think we can win with Goff. And if we could establish that run game and with the proper O-line, I think we can win with Goff. That's why I'm not like, let's go get Baker. But if we were gifted Baker, I would take the gift. I would take the gift. Yeah.
You might just buy a number 6 jersey.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Just show up in my background. Who knows, man?
I'm taking down this guy, and I'm going to put up a number 6. Yeah, I just love his fire, and I'm like, that's something I could get behind. But, you know, that's just me. And so all of this kind of comes down to now. I'll finish out with this way because I want you to be able to get going. I know, you know, we usually do an hour, so I don't want to go over on you.
Okay.
Also in the chat, thank you everybody for liking the video, for hanging out. Yeah, I saw there was an issue with a Damon Johnson. Damon, my guy. It's all right, dude. We're all Lions fans here. Let's all just hang out, have some fun, just talk about the good stuff here. Yeah. Last but not least, we're obviously in a situation where, as the free agency is coming to a close, Malik Willis, just tell me, what do you think about him? Is number 2 dumb? Is drafting a quarterback dumb? Do you like Malik Willis? Do you not want him? Just rattle it off. Tell me how you feel.
I don't think it's dumb. I don't think it's a dumb idea, especially if you love someone there. I don't think it's dumb to take a guy that you love, even if it is at quarterback and you feel like Goff has a shot. I don't think it's a dumb move. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I think, especially with the recent moves, and they could be trying to cover it up, but I do believe the Lions, they see this situation. They're like, all right, look, Goff, we know where your contract's at. Next year, you're the guy. And if you play well and we win games, you can be brought back, continue to be the guy. If not, we are going to be probably looking elsewhere. So we bring back Boyle on a 1-year deal, right? David Ball, I feel like, is probably going to be like a placeholder. But we kind of have this 1-year kind of quarterback situation, it feels like. Now, with Malik Willis, I'm not on the hype train to think he's the top quarterback because, I mean, going back before all I think the Combine really got his name going because at the Combine, the way he's throwing the deep ball, you're like, dang, he's throwing it better than everybody. And I mean, that's a Lions thing. We had Stafford for 12 years. The deep ball, man, that's what it's about. Who doesn't love the deep ball? So he's throwing those. But even before that, like, I didn't think Malik Willis was the best quarterback in this class, let alone a 2 pick. I didn't even think he was the best quarterback here. I had him like 3, 4. I had him in that kind of tier. So for me with Malik Willis, I wouldn't take him at 2 personally, but there's things that I'm really starting to like about Malik because I feel like, you know, on the field, things you can improve in certain areas, decision-making, things like that. I think he's extremely raw. I think decision-making, you know, it's very questionable. His accuracy can be kind of hit and miss, but we know he can throw the deep ball. The issue for me with the thing that I'm starting to really like about Malik is everything that I'm hearing off the field. Now, unfortunately, I don't get to interview him, anything like that, but obviously you see what comes up in the Combine. You see the, you know, that action there. And then to me, people like him. Like, people gather around that guy. So when I want a leader, to me, he's going to be a leader of your team. No matter how he plays, people seem to gather around him. I saw it at the Senior Bowl. Everybody chooses to go with Malik Willis. Why? Because they like that guy. He's the guy that brings people together. That's a huge benefit where sometimes you can just overlook and be like, yeah, maybe he's not there yet, but he can lead this team, right? We see the character there. And just from the outside looking in, the character checks out. So I'm not going to say I'd be mad at the pick. I wouldn't be mad at the pick because I'm really starting to like that side. But I can't even say I think he's the best quarterback right now.
Ooh, yeah, it's tough, dude. It's really tough because I look and I'm like, I think Malik Willis, if we were sitting somewhere a little bit further back in the draft, ahead of some of these teams, because like Washington obviously got their Carson Wentz. Like, you have these teams that are getting their guy right now, the entire QB shuffle, where I'm like, at number 2, Malik Willis scares me at number 2. I don't love it. I do not love it at number 2. And I think with the re-signing, also, you were talking about the deep ball. And yes, the deep ball is a gorgeous thing to watch, but I'm like, I don't want to lust after it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to fall in love with my QB. I don't want to lust after his arm and that strength. Like, I want to love that guy when we're drafting him. So, hey, Adam, my guy, thanks for coming into the chat. This is the collab I've been waiting for. It's very sweet of you. Yeah, it's we've been actually, this is probably what, our 3rd, 4th time doing this, so
Yeah, it's been a few now. I like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing now. We got to keep it going. We got to keep the momentum, keep it happening. Maybe on my channel, your channel, we got to keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Yeah. Also, hey, Adam, love the collab. Get him on Woodward Sports. Actually, Adam was kind enough to invite me back on. So we're just trying to work out a date. We're going to make it happen. So, yeah, when I look at Malik Willis at number 2, I do not love it. I think his pro day just sort of, for me, I love the mobility. The arm strength is nice. I just think it's sitting at number 2. If the Jags let Aiden Hutchinson go, I'm still on the Hutch train. That's just me. I don't know where you
I get it.
Where are you sitting at?
Yeah, I mean, I love Hutchinson, man, and I think he is gonna go 1 at this point. I think that's where he goes. But even the thing about Malik is I'm trying to, like you said, get too focused on the deep ball and more. I've been looking at guys like I like the decision making, the ability to kind of see what he's seeing in terms of coverage, the command that he has over an offense. Like you look at a guy like Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder makes all the calls at the line. Some guys. All right, you showed the defense, and then they look to the sideline to get the calls. What adjustments do we got to make? Desmond Ridder does it all. He runs the checks, does pass protection. He's making audibles, and you're like, okay, well, this guy can run an offense, right? So you see things like that, and that's exciting. I get Malik can develop that side. I'm just saying, obviously, if you got him at 2, he wouldn't be a starter right away.
No.
It's a weird spot with him. Because you see the upside, but at the same time, he wouldn't have to play your 1. So, yeah, this could work. But since I believe that Goff can be the guy, I don't need to draft him at 2, because I believe Goff can play well. He can win games this year, come back another year, and we can roll forward with him. And then I don't want to have Malik Willis just sitting there. I feel bad for the guy. Plus, we used the 2 pick on him.
Yes.
So, to me, Hamilton feels like the 2 pick right now. We'll
Whoa!
It does. I mean, I would say it feels like 80% chance this goes
No
Kyle
way.
Hamilton in 2. You know what? It's playing out that way. I mean, we haven't grabbed the safety in free agency, which
it's true.
It's under. There's a couple guys I look at like Terrell Edmonds, right? But we haven't grabbed anybody. We have, to me, the safety position. They talk about the importance. You get a guy that can play all these positions. I could see them doing it. I mean, people may say it's crazy. I think you would prefer to trade back. I'm not saying this is necessarily who I would take, but if I was like, who do I think we will take? I would say I think they'll take Kyle Hamilton as of right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you. All right. I thought you were saying.
Not me.
That's
what I think's going to happen. That's what I think's going to happen right now.
Thank you for clearing that up. I was like, really?
Yeah. Not necessarily what I want, but I'm just, that's
your projection. You're projecting the Lions
right now.
Yes. Okay.
It feels like Kyle Hamilton.
See, I feel like if Aiden Hutchinson goes to Jacksonville, I just really believe that we will trade back. Mm-hmm. I do. I believe that we're going to. I hope so too. If Hutch is not available, I'm like, let's get out of there. Let's grab more capital. Let's see what else we can do in this draft. Because Kyle Hamilton, I do not.
You're not feeling it?
I'm not.
You are feeling it? What is it because he's a safety, or is it something about him specifically?
It's because my own opinion, he's a safety, and a safety at number 2 is just a wild idea. It is
super high.
It's out there. It's Wild Thornberries, a girl who could talk to animals, and I don't love it. I didn't like the Wild Thornberries, so I'm down like this.
And the thing is, it's like, I don't even think Kyle Hamilton is like, he's not the perfect prospect. You watch the guy, he's not perfect. He struggles in areas. He struggles a little bit in man coverage. He struggles being the deep guy and stopping the run. There's things that he struggles with, but because of our defensive backs coach, I got to believe that they feel like they get their hands on that with Tracy Walker, not signing a free agent safety, because at least they've been signing like 1-year deals to plug gap. They're not even plugging it. It's just like it's there. Think about, who's our 2 safety right now? Who did you put out there across from T-Walk?
Oh.
I would put CJ Moore out there. I like CJ Moore, but I doubt it. No. I would really doubt it.
No, okay, good point. Yeah. Because CJ Moore.
Yeah, I like CJ, but I just think it just feels like that's where it's trending.
And you're right. Not picking up Marcus Williams was it might be a show of the hands. It might be which I didn't mind. Like, Marcus Williams came at a high price tag. I would have loved him, but it was also like, it's a lot of money. But you're right, that definitely does open up like the portal of being like, okay, will the Lions look to select Hamilton that early? And I really, sincerely hope not.
It's gonna be wild, man. Draft is gonna be super interesting this year. I'm just trying to figure out who I think the best is, regardless of position. I don't know who that is yet. I'm still working through it. I don't know who I think that is.
And that's the tough part is like, penultimate Hutchinson or trade back. That's where I'm sitting right now. That's kind of where that's what I want, Hutchinson or trade back. So this is weird because like last year going into the draft, Penei Sewell just felt like a lock. It just felt like a lock if Cincinnati didn't take him. That's where I was like, all right, if Cincy doesn't grab Sewell, we'll get him. That's the lock there. So when we drafted him, it was like, all right, sweet. This year, I'm worried that I'm going to be live streaming and we're going to do something and a very raw emotion.
Emotions, yes. Yeah. People will clip that and be like, look at his reaction.
This guy sucks. Yeah, and that might happen because I might feel a very certain way about it, especially after an adult beverage or two, so you don't know.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. This draft is going to be fun, though. That's fun. I have literally no clue what's happening this year. I mean, it's to the point we're pushing a month until the draft and no idea.
No.
I'm thinking Hamilton, but even that, or still, like you said, it's a safety at 2. Would they really take a safety at 2? So if Hutchinson isn't there, I think things get pretty wild.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm here for it, man.
Oh, man. All right, dude. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for hanging out. I know we went over by like 10 minutes. That's on me.
It's all good.
But seriously, everybody, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching. If you all know who Dose of Dion is, there's not a chance any one of you have never seen him before if you're watching my channel. So if by some weird reason you don't, go sub to his channel and like everything he does because you'll like everything he does.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love having you on, man. I love chatting about this, obviously. It's been a ton of fun, so thank you.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I want to get you back on our channel for sure, because like I said, that was one of our best ones, and that's something like as soon as like when you left, it was like this was one of our best shows, man, no question. So it was great. It was, and it flowed so well. So I don't know, maybe it is that aspect of I'm talking way too fast and you're talking slower, so it's like it just meshes perfectly. That's fine with me.
We just find a happy medium.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, dude, everybody else, thank you for being here. I got a little outro for you all today. I know a lot of you are hopping off, but I made something very special for you all. So, with gratitude, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Well, hey, look at that. You stuck around to the end of a Let's Talk Lions live, and I can't thank you enough for that. So in doing so, I will show my gratitude by reading to you Aesop's Fables. Today, we will be reading The Wolf and the Crane. A wolf once got a bone stuck in his throat, so he went to a crane and begged her to put her long bill down his throat and pull it out. "I'll make it worth your while," he added. The crane did as she was asked and got the bone out quite easily. The wolf thanked her warmly and was just turning away when the crane cried, "What about that fee of mine?" "Well, what about it?" snapped the wolf, baring his teeth as he spoke. "You can go about boasting that you once put your head into a wolf's mouth and didn't get it bitten off. What more do you want? In serving the wicked, expect no reward and be thankful if you escape injury for your pains." Thank you for hanging out on Let's Talk Lions live tonight. That is it. That's all I got for you. So now it's probably the time to just click away.